Today I'm going to get a little more personal. I don't do this because I am not here to talk about myself, but today has been so amazing that I can't hold it in and I just need to get it out. And I thought, who better to tell than you guys? So I've been in a lovely conversation with a charming young professing atheist. And really, all I know about him thus far is that he has big muscles. So I'm just going to give you a little example of our conversations and what his MO is. So we have, is it me or does she appear heavily medicated? Here's another one. At first, I thought this was a spoof, but she's serious, I guess. That blank, empty look on her face. Clearly not operating on a full deck. Another? That's the face of a blind sheep. And here's one. You know why we talk about you fools? Because we have to share space with you. You are frightened of life and death and have chosen one of thousands of gods created by man to ease your anxiety. You are a truly pitiful sort. You wouldn't know truth if it bit you in the ass. Perhaps you need your fairy tale to function. That is very sad. So now here I'll give you one of my replies. It's cute that you think. I don't know why you guys talk about us. Error in your assumption. I was frightened of life and death until I accepted the truth. I understand the confusion of denominations could cause you to question or doubt Christianity. That is, after all, Satan's wicked plan to confuse us so we become blind to the truth. Denominations. Now, if we look within the word and we unscramble, it says demon in nations. However, they all still have one thing in common, the name Jesus. That's why Satan is working so hard against this one God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and leaving all the other gods alone. Please don't be sad for me. I have never been more complete. It's not a feeling, it's a knowing. I know him because he bit me in the ass. John 15:18. If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. So he responds, oh yes, it's a knowing. Just like the flat earther knows for absolute certain. Just like the people that have claimed to be repeatedly abducted by aliens absolutely know they were abducted. The Muslims know their relationship with Muhammad is so real, they blow themselves up. But not you, sweetie. You know. LOL, LOL, LOLOLO. Oh dear, you are priceless. Quoting from your comic book. It's so cute. So I replied, no, it's not at all like flat earthers who claim to know that the earth is flat. It's like knowing who your father is and someone attempting to cause you to doubt your own reality having known him. And all those other things are truths. They too know they're false gods. They are all the works of one Satan. So, yada, 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 yada. So many more conversations. He says to me, seek help immediately. LOL, LOL. Mental illness is real. OLOLOLOLOLL. So then in comes our brother Hans. You know, speaking some truth and some sense. And he starts going into a conversation with Hans. And basically, what this charming young man is asking us to do is prove to him that God exists. Actually, he prefers to call him G's ass, which is a character in our Babel. Here's my favorite that he replied to me. Okay, so you discovered things about yourself you did not like. Rather than take responsibility, you blamed it on a devil you have no proof existed. Great. Truth 42, verse 6. You're a nutcase. Gotta give him credit for that. I never claimed such a thing. I never blamed anyone. I said I met him. My proof is my encounter. It's mine. You can't have it, and I can't give it to you. You will have to go get your own. You want to put the responsibility on anyone else but yourself. Your heart is not seeking for truth. It's out to steal others' truths and destroy it. I have news for you. God will destroy the lies that you hold and protect as your truth. If your heart is truly seeking to receive the truth, you will find him. You're complaining that you have to coexist with us, yet you come to us day and night. As a fool once said, mental illness is real. Proverbs 1, a wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So as you can see, atheists, we cannot prove it to you. You can't have our proof. It belongs to us. Okay? You have to do some work and find it yourself. If you really want to know the truth, go to the source and ask him. And if you open your ears and your eyes and your heart, he will prove it to you. My final message to him was the warning not to trust the one world order, nor take his mark. Which then brings me to this morning. I'm in another conversation with a professing Catholic. When I was a Catholic unbeliever, and what I mean by that is, I believed that there was a God. I mean, just look around. This cannot happen by chance. Anything that was created demands a creator. So, I did believe in a God. And I did believe that Jesus died for our sins. But what I could not believe was that he rose again. And I think it's because the Catholic Church still has him nailed to the cross. So, in the church, I would ask anyone who would listen, why did Jesus die? And they would all reply, for our sins. And I would always reply, then why am I still needing to confess my sins to another sinner in a closet? And they would always reply, for the forgiveness of sins. And I would say, do you mean the sins that Jesus died for? And that's when I'd lose them. So I never got my answers. Hence, I could never believe that Jesus died and then was buried in a tomb and that he rose again the third day, because I couldn't understand why he had to die in the first place if I still had to confess them. Isn't that double jeopardy or something? Like, where's the justice for Jesus in that? Now, Jesus, son, you're going to have to die for Stacy because of all her wicked, unrighteous sins. But only if Stacy keeps up her end of the bargain and sticks to those sacraments in obedience under the authorities of the Catholic Church system. Otherwise, your death will have no meaning and serve no purpose. Because in Romans 5, verse 19, it says, by one man's obedience, many will be made righteous. Well, first of all, I'm not a man, and it's definitely not my obedience, which means only his righteousness could make me righteous. And that righteousness would need, of necessity, to be imputed on to me, because I know that I am incapable of keeping up my end of the bargain, living in this sinful flesh that lusts after sin. We all fall short of God's glory. Okay, so I'll finally get to my point and what I mean in my unbelief of Jesus being raised. I would always wonder, where is God right now? Where is he? Why am I going through so much suffering? Why is there evil? What is the whole point of all of this? Like a typical atheist would ask. Why, when I call out, God, is he not comforting me? So I couldn't see any works that he was doing, attempting to draw me to him. So this morning, I'm sitting in my living room, on the floor, cross-legged, near a plug, plugged into my laptop, commenting to a professing Catholic. And as I'm typing away, I hear the song in the background called Your Grace Finds Me. So now you have a visual of me sitting on the floor, typing away, listening to Your Grace Finds Me. And I'm going to let you listen in a little bit. So, is there a newborn cry? There in the light of every sunrise. There in the shadows of this life. Your great grace. Is there on the mountain top? There in the every day in the Monday. There in the sorrow and the dancing. Your great grace. Oh, such grace. Okay, so now at this point, my dog, whose name's Smooch, comes up to me so gently, rolls on her back, and looks me dead in the face, right? And she's in my lap. And I'm like, oh, I love my dog. And so she's looking at me all soulful-eyed. And I'm still jamming to the song. And right at this point, you picture me just smushing her face, looking her right in the face, right? So here's what happens. From the creation to the cross, there from the cross into eternity, your grace finds me. Yes, your grace. Here she is. Your great grace. Okay. So now, as I'm looking into my dog's eyes, I'm seeing God. And I'm like, he knows how much I love animals, my puppies. So I'm looking into her eyes and I'm talking to God through her eyes and I'm saying, your great grace, you know? And so I'm like, my dog is his grace. Like he gave her to me. Like he put her in my lap. Okay? So then I'm thinking, I had a dog named Grace. Okay, so Smooch is the only dog that I have named since I have found the truth. Okay? So I have named all of my dogs because I'm a control freak. Okay? And I'm really good at naming dogs. So I'm thinking about Grace, my dog Grace, and I'm thinking, oh, that's kind of funny. I hadn't even been in Grace and I named my dog Grace. So then I'm thinking about all my dogs that I named in a row, right? So here it goes. My first dog that I had, his name I named Rio because my boyfriend at the time and I got him together and we met at a club called Rio Day. So how cute is that? We name our puppy after our meeting place, right? So his name is Rio. After that breakup, I meet my husband and Rio comes with me because he was a pain in the butt, but I loved him so much. Rio comes with me into my life still and into my husband's life. And he falls in love with the little crap that he was. After Rio passed away is when I cried for 24 solid hours, even while I was sleeping. So my husband got the newspaper, because back then that's how you got a dog. We got the newspaper and we traveled all over Michigan to find Grace. Okay? We bring her home and she's a klutz of all klutzes. So I named her Grace, thinking, well, at least her name will be Grace. Right? So then, while we have Grace, I bring home the most precious baby boy and I name him Griffin. Because my husband and I met at a bar, and no, I'm not a bar freak, it's a long story, named Griff's Grill. So we named him Griff. And the only reason why I'm not including that guy right there is because I didn't name him. My husband named him, and his name is Grady, otherwise known as Gravy, because he's a big boy. So anyway, so I'm only thinking about the dogs the names that came into my head, right? He's old and he can't get off the couch by himself. So now I'm thinking in order: Rio, Grace, Griffin, and Smooch, right? So I thought, I'm going to look up the meanings of their names. Rio means river. Grace means grace or mercy. Griffin means strong lord. So right there, we have a river that led me to grace in the strong Lord. And I was like, is this happening? And then I thought, smooch. I mean, what could smooch possibly mean? Ready for this? Our brother Hans, 4 days ago, told me that in his Dutch language, that reconciliation means verzoenen, which is related to the word zoenen, okay? Which means kissing. And then he led me to Psalms 2, verse 12. Kiss the Son, lest ye be angry, and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. Kiss the Son. A river led me to grace in the strong Lord for reconciliation. Drop the mic. So all that time that I thought that God was not giving me signs and wonders, there they were. I just didn't see them. Not that I didn't, it's that I wouldn't. See, here's the thing about the ego. It hates to stand corrected. So we protect it with a covering over the lies that we hold so dear to our heart, that we have been fed from childhood to believe is the truth, until we put our trust in him. And in him is in his name. Actually, salvation is found in his name, like literally inside the meaning of his name, just like all the meanings of my dog's names. His name, Jesus, means God is salvation. It's right there in his name. And for all you Calvinists, it says, blessed are all they that put their trust in him. So he is drawing every man to himself. Every. He is drawing all men unto himself by all these things. And when the truth smacks us in the face, we put our trust in him. Because I can assure you, this mouth has a lot to say a lot of the time. So there is absolutely, positively no reason why God would want to keep it quiet for 46 years. As if he would have rather me talked about hair and makeup and home decorating instead of talking about him with this mouth. So don't anybody dare try to tell me that God was just waiting for the perfect time for me to believe, and that he held back giving me faith for 46 years. I held back giving him my faith for 46 years. Please hear it, Calvinists. You're blaming God for withholding himself from you. And the only good news that you can share is the good news that happened to you. Because if you actually told your truth, you would say, I have great news. God gave me faith today. And then when they're like going, oh my gosh, what can I do to get faith? And you'd have to say, you can't do anything. You just have to wait until he gives it to you, because it's a gift. Yes, it's a gift, just like any other gift. He's going, here's the free gift of salvation. Take it. Just, will you take it? It's right there. Take it. Take the dang gift. It's right here in my hand. I'm trying to give it to you. And the gift of being able to come to him through faith is a gift. We have access to his grace through faith in what he did for us. That's a gift. So instead of having access into his grace by working so hard to be perfect and wonderful and all of our wonderful, wonderful works, he decided before the world began that we, the heathens, would be saved through faith. Why? To provoke Israel to jealousy for their stubborn rebellion against God, against his will for them. Against. Because what you're trying to tell me is that God chose before the foundation of the world to keep this mouth that he gave me quiet for 46 years, talking about the matters of herself instead of this.
All my life, I've been told I belong at the end of the line. Well, all the other not quite. Well, all I never get it right. But it turns out they're the ones you were looking for all this time. 'Cause I'm just a nobody, trying to tell everybody all about somebody who saved my soul. Ever since you rescued me, you gave my heart a song to sing. I'm living for the world to see, nobody but Jesus.
Now, does that make any sense to you? No. I'm going to end today's video with some verses that touched my soul that I just love to share. Psalms chapter 62, starting in verse 6. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. In God is my salvation and my glory. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in God. Trust in him at all times, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. Selah. God made us weak vessels on purpose, at his will, because he had the forethought to know that if he made us weak, that we just might search outside of ourselves for strength. And he is the strength that we search for and find, if we will hear. Because thine heart was tender, and thou didst humble thyself before God, when thou heardest his words against this place and against the inhabitants thereof, and humbled thyself before me, and didst rend thy clothes and weep before me, I even heard thee also, said the Lord. So because while we were hearing his words against this place and against the inhabitants thereof, which means while we were hearing that we were lawbreakers and we humbled ourselves and admitted that we are lawbreakers and wept